Hey, we are live. Welcome to 2019, the first show of 2019. So, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Kayla Cox. I am the owner of this here channel. I have lost over 80 pounds with intermittent fasting. Most of that was O.M.A.D, one meal a day. And I eat whatever I want, and I don't count calories, and I don't cut carbs. So in today's show, we're going to talk about how to enjoy your plan, and we'll also do a live Q&A. So any questions you have about intermittent fasting, weight loss, mindset, walking, I walk 6 miles every day, leave that in the chat section, and my husband's in here moderating comments. Thank you for doing that, Jake. And I will get to them in the order that they were put in. Couple of housekeeping things while everybody's getting in here. First of all, if you haven't joined the Facebook group, if you're looking for a group of people who are also doing this intermittent fasting thing, it's a great group of encouraging people. The only real rule is no diet dogma allowed. So it's fine, whatever way you like to eat. We have people from vegan to carnivore, but we have a live and let live attitude. I eat lots of carbs, so I'm not going to be fussing at you for eating lots of carbs, basically. Let's see. So also, I started a podcast a couple of weeks ago, so you can go check that out also. It's going to be similar to what I do on here. I think I'll take a deeper dive into topics. With YouTube, I try to keep them short and snappy, but in the podcast, I tried to go into a bit more depth, and I plan on having some original content over there as far as like some audio-only type intermittent fasting success stories, because I know not everybody would like to be on camera. Speaking of that, if you would like to be interviewed as an intermittent fasting success story, email me at Kayla at 6milestosupper.com, and I would love to interview you audio only or audio and video. Super simple. It's just a Skype call, and I try to keep it around 30 minutes or less. So it really depends on how much we talk. So let's talk about and big awesome news today was we hit 10,000 subscribers for this channel, which I'm floored. Thank you guys for watching and for commenting and for sharing it with your friends and for just always encouraging me. I had no idea how kind and nice YouTuber commenters could be. It was the one thing that I hesitated about ever even putting a video on YouTube, just me about weight loss, but you guys have been great, so thank you. And so, with that, let's talk about enjoying your plan. And I thought this would be a really good topic to talk about today of all days, because it's the beginning of the year. And in the beginning of a year, I know I do this. I tend to start making all these plans and getting all, like, okay, I gotta accomplish this, this, and this, and you kind of can get really aggressive, right? And I was looking back, because I like to look back over the years, especially because since about 2015, I started keeping a list of goals, yearly goals in a Google Doc, and so I went back and looked at my 2015. Now, the end of 2015 was the year where I weighed in the beginning of the year in February, and that was when I was at 222 pounds. And by the end of that year, I had lost 15 to 20 pounds. I had really lost like 20, but I was in the process of putting it back on, and I was pretty frustrated. By the end of that year, I was really getting to the point of like, this isn't working. Maybe I should give up. I don't know. So here's what I wrote, and I thought this was interesting. I said, what I have learned about myself in 2015. I have learned that whatever I do needs to be sustainable throughout my life. Not, I can do this for 2 months. I need to be able to modify for life. So that was a mindset shift that happened. Because before that, I was doing CrossFit, and I was, at one point that year, I had weighed and measured all of my food and tracked every morsel that I put in my mouth. I drove myself crazy, basically, and I was in such a huge rush, and I just didn't have good results that year. And I was mainly trying to do that thing where you punish yourself, like just, how dare you be so overweight, and I'm going to punish you into submission. I'm just going to do all the things that I possibly can so that I can, get this weight off. And when I had that mindset shift over to, no, this has got to be for life. This is, and really, you should probably, I mean, this is my advice. When you're writing your plan out, like if right now, if you're in a place where you're like, I don't really know what I want to do to lose weight, my suggestion would be focus on enjoyment and make it look pretty close to how you want your life to look for the rest of your life. So in other words, like if you love carbs, like I love carbs, okay, then don't sit there and say, I'm never going to eat carbs again. Like, because really, that's not realistic. And if you can see yourself like, well, I'll just not eat carbs until I get the weight off, because that was like my mindset. Like like when I was younger, I tried the low carb thing, and I was just dreaming of the day when I could, when I would get down to the goal weight so I could go back to eating carbs. So instead, this time I told myself, no, we're not going to eliminate any foods, no food groups, everything's allowed. We're just going to figure out how we can eat and get down to a good weight and stay at that good weight. So let's see. So, and this is actually a really good time too. We just got out of the holidays, right? The holidays, I think, are a very honest time for ourselves, because we give ourselves permission, right, to eat the foods that we enjoy. And it is a time of stress, and so there is, a lot of times we can overeat, or, we're just eating, at parties and stuff like that. So we can overdo it. But at the same time, I would, I think it's good to look at your holiday time and say, what kinds of foods was I eating? And why not allow yourself to routinely have those kinds of foods? I'm not saying that you should have cookies and cake every single day, but what happened with me was when I said, I want to keep all the foods that I enjoy in my life all the time, not just on Sunday, just whenever I want them throughout the week, I suddenly had self-control. And it wasn't like this forbidden food and there was all this emotion. It was just, a cookie is a cookie now. And do I want a cookie? Okay, I'll have a cookie. But I'm not going to sit there and pound cookies back, So, let's see. So, enjoy your plan. Figure out what you would enjoy, because if you can enjoy your plan, and you really can, like I think this is overlooked. You can enjoy your plan. You get to write your plan. You get to put whatever you want into your plan. There are no rules, okay? Like, you don't need permission from anybody to do your plan the way you want to do it. You're in control. So, enjoy it, right? I mean, like, why not? Like, and if you think you don't deserve enjoyment, then I would say you need to change your mindset, because you need to be really nice to yourself. Learn to be really nice. I was not very nice to myself in the past, and I had to learn how to be nicer, and I'm still working on being even nicer to myself, but it's important, because if you can really like yourself and love yourself and really give yourself some enjoyment, you'll stick with the plan for a lot longer, or for a lifetime, really. So, let's see, like, also, so another aspect of this is, making it easy on yourself. So another, don't try to go with really long fast at first. If you're not used to fasting, start with short fasting windows. Work your way up. It's okay. You don't have to go to O.M.A.D tomorrow. Some people can do that, and that's great for them. But if you can't do that, or if you don't want to do that, just take your time with it. There's no rush. And you can bribe yourself. Like, this is something I did with walking. With the food, it was pretty easy for me. Like, I just said, you can eat whatever you want during your eating window. So, like, that was the boundary. I said, okay, I'm not eating until I get to the eating window, and then I can eat whatever foods I want. So that was kind of like the bribe there, right? But with exercise, I had to bribe myself, because I knew, like, I'm not gonna, like, walk 6 miles every day just because I love it so much at first, because I found it kind of boring at first. So I just said, okay, you can watch Netflix, can be on Facebook, and guilt-free, because you're walking at the same time. So that bribe helped me to get into the habit, and then I learned that I enjoyed it, and so I stuck with it because I learned how to enjoy it. So you can learn how to enjoy certain things, but the key, I think, is to be honest with yourself about those things. So, and give yourself some luxury too. Like, I have a cheat day every week. Every single week, I take Sunday off from fasting. I have a pancake breakfast with my family. I eat whatever I want throughout the day. I eat whenever I want throughout the day. And that's like luxurious. It's like so nice. It's like a little gift I give myself. That's really how it felt in the beginning. Now I don't feel like I need it, but I still keep it because it's a luxury. It's like, hey, it makes it really, really easy. So, okay. I think those were all my notes. So I'm going to go look at any questions we've got so far, and then maybe I'll elaborate. Hey, Gabriel, I'm glad you're in here. Hey, Chuck. Let's see. I'm not where I want to be on steps. I got to get going. Try to get 11,000. Yeah. Yeah. That is a thing. Like I had 2 days this past week where I did not get my steps in. We were traveling all day. For like 2 days straight, and I didn't get my steps in, and I think that's a good thing to occasionally do, is to occasionally break your streak. Take a break, on purpose, or I have kind of a code with myself. In that particular case, by the time we finished traveling that day, it was time for supper, and I hadn't seen my kids all day, and it was like, I'm not gonna go leave them while I go walk 6 miles. Like, we're just gonna not do steps today, and that's fine. Like, in the big scheme of things, I think I missed a total of 3 days, yeah, in all of 2018. So I'm fine, but it's good, I think, to occasionally break your streak, because it's kind of a test to see, do you want to keep doing this? Because, for me, 6 miles, that's a long time, 2 hours out of my day that I'm walking. But I missed it. Like, I really, really like getting my steps in, and I've gotten them in every day since then. But the point is, if you make a long streak and you break that streak, don't have that all or nothing mindset. Like, ask yourself, do you want to get back to it? If not, make your plan easier. And if you do want to get back to it, just get right back to it. Don't like say, well, I failed, so forget it. That was totally my mindset in the past. I'm learning how to get rid of my all or nothing mindset in other areas of my life, because I've realized it's so helpful in the weight loss arena to get rid of that all or nothing mindset. Let go of perfectionism, or murder perfectionism, really was what I had to do. But learning how to do that, and really saying in every aspect, this is just all or nothing is a bad way to look at things. Okay. Let's see. Thank you guys for those kind comments. Oh, hey Donna, I'm glad you're in here. Hopefully, if you have any questions, please just go ahead and pop them in the comment section, or the chat section rather. Let's see. Oh yeah, we just left Arizona. We're in Texas right now, right above San Antonio. And man, it is cold. It has been cold. And like, we drove through snow in New Mexico. It's been crazy weather out there. I hope all of you are enjoying some good weather. Let's see. Hey Christina, I'm glad you're in here in Nature Crafts. Hey Steven, I'm glad you're in here. Oh Diana, I haven't seen you in a while. Happy New Year to you too. Let's see. I'm looking forward to our interview someday soon. I can't wait, O.M.A.D Outlaw. Franco, I'm glad to hear you're back on plan. I think everybody, to some extent, goes off plan at least a little bit. I mean, I'm trying to think if anybody in the Facebook group said they were staying on plan the entire time. I don't think so. And Facebook group has like 800 members now, so thank you guys who are a part of that. Thank you for that. It's a really good group. Mrs. Newton, that mental shift, that's me now. I just can't diet anymore. Yeah, it has driven me crazy with nothing to show for it but extra pounds to lose. Totally agree. Like, that whole mindset of I'm going on a diet, like, I think that's like, just toss that kind of thinking out. Just say, I'm changing my lifestyle, right? Like, and it doesn't have to be drastic. Really, it doesn't. I mean, I know people would say, well, oh man, like 1 meal a day, that seems drastic. But to me, it's not. Like, I get there really, really slowly, first of all. But a lot of people, the way they'll do it is just have lunch and supper. That's it. Well, that's not very different at all. I mean, you take away breakfast, basically. And people have found that they can lose weight or, maintain it. And so it doesn't have to be drastic. It can just be little lifestyle tweaks. So, hey DB, Happy New Year to you as well. Uh, yeah, my New Year's Eve was relatively uneventful. Like, we watched Harry Potter and some other movie. Oh, That Thing You Do. And then I fell asleep. So, and that's pretty much all you need to know about me as far as parties go. Hey, Thomas. That's awesome. Clarissa, yeah. And also, that's a good point, too, about thinking of the whole year. Like, if you've got 50 pounds to lose, accept that probably it'll take you a year. I mean, a pound a week consistently, a pound a week consistently on average is really good. And I know that sounds really slow, but most people, that's what they report. It's like a pound. Some lucky people are like 2 pounds a week consistently. Now, that's not to say that you won't have a week where you drop 5 pounds or so, but you know, just kind of give yourself some time because remember, you know, other things happen in life too, like vacations and birthdays and other holidays and stuff. So giving yourself that space, I think, is really, really good. And I can't wait to see what yours like, Clarissa. Linda, eating foods I hated and doing without what I enjoyed was one reason I failed so many times before. I don't need to do that now. I don't feel desperate now. I can do this. That is so awesome. And that's exactly how I felt back in 2014 when I really realized I've got to do something about this. I was just dead set on going on another diet because it was like, they never work. They never, not in the long term. Short term, sure, they work like a charm. Like pretty much every diet works if you can stick with it. But it's really about what you can stick with for the very, 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 very long term. So, and that's what I love about intermittent fasting. To me, it's like effortless as far as it's like nowadays, I mean, I've given myself, because right now I'm maintaining, because I'm at a weight I'm very happy at. And so I'm just trying to maintain within like a 5-pound range. So I've given myself permission to just eat, you know, however much I want. Like if I want to eat, you know, like all day, one day I have given myself that permission, but I really enjoy like intermittent fasting as far as, you know, one meal a day. I think yesterday I had like kind of an earlier kind of like, it's probably like I don't know, a 16-8 or 18-6 is what I ended up doing. But I just prefer the way my day is structured with just one meal a day. It's like, I like that a whole lot. I can be really productive and it just fits in well with my day, and I really just like how I feel. But yeah, it's just, I love how it fits in with my life. Franco, congratulations on your success in getting all your experiences, information on one meal a day out in the mainstream. Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, Jay was, he's been doing the Wim Hof method, and he may link to it. And I had heard about this method on the Tim Ferriss show, and Tim Ferriss is really where I learned about, well, I learned a lot of stuff from him as far as like mindset stuff and just basically the idea that you can form your own plan and experiment, self-experimentation, right? And I heard about Wim Hof from him, and Wim Hof is this crazy guy, but he has some pretty cool stuff if you ever want to Google him. There's like a breathing exercise, and Jay's been doing it and having really cool results, and so I've started doing it. Like it's like breath holding. Like there's a certain kind of breathing that you do, but also it helps you to be able to hold your breath for longer periods of time, which that's not really the main benefit. But it's been neat. Like if I don't do the breathing exercises, I think I can hold my breath for like 20 seconds or so before I feel like I need to take a breath. Today I did one, and I held my breath for 2 minutes and 22 seconds before I felt like I needed to breathe. It's crazy. Very cool stuff. But anyway, Wim Hof does O.M.A.D, 1 meal a day. See, there's always like a connection there that I'm trying to make. Okay. Let's see. Love the time change I'm watching as I eat my O.M.A.D. Oh, good, Christina. Yeah, like, I'm really trying to figure out the right time. We're moving back east across the United States right now, so, and I was like, man, if I get back on the East Coast at 9 o'clock at night, I'm going to be really tired, so that's why we changed the time. We figured beginning of the year that'd be the best time to do that. And also planning on adding in an additional live, because some people have said, you know, like, Wednesday nights doesn't really, it's not the best time for them. So, and then for the people over there, especially in like London and stuff, I'm hopeful that I can figure out a time, like maybe Tuesdays at like 10 in the morning Eastern. I don't know. We'll see. Hey Jen, Happy New Year to you as well. Oh, Linda, happy O.M.A.D-ing in 2019. Thank goodness these holidays are over. I'm back almost to normal. Overeating too much sugar around here, but still doing intermittent fasting. It's all good. See, poor Linda, she has to join us at 2 a.m. And yeah, I think, I mean, man, I really enjoyed the holidays. We had lots of cookies that we made. We made nut rolls, which are fantastic and amazing, but full of butter and sugar and nuts and butter, and it's really, really good though. But I enjoyed it all. Guilt-free, and I love that, that I just can enjoy foods guilt-free now. And so that was the beauty of intermittent fasting, really, is it really improved my relationship with food. So okay, let's see. O.M.A.D, outlaw. Everything is better with O.M.A.D. Appetite correction is baby steps. Give up little things and make it a lifestyle. And now is mostly O.M.A.D for life. Progress is better than perfection. Oh, love progress is better than perfection. Oh my gosh, that's like, I'm stealing that. No, but it's true. Like, learning, like, okay, so if you're new to intermittent fasting, just do it and be bad at it, and just give yourself permission to be bad at it, because I was like, in the beginning I had coffee with cream and sugar because I needed it, and I needed gum and mints, like just all these things to get me through the fasting window. And I think it was really good for me that I allowed myself to be bad, because I mean, some people out there will get very dogmatic, let's say, about you must do it this way and you have to follow these rules, and really just be bad at it. Just allow yourself to be bad at it. You'll get better at it. You really will. Like, nowadays, fasting is so easy for me. Like, I can go 24 hours without food, and it's like nothing. I did a 5-day fast, and it wasn't that challenging. Like, it was almost disappointing in how really easy it felt. So you'll get better. It's like, it's like, an exercise. It's like reps, right? Like, you know, the first time you do it, it feels kind of tough, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. So instead, just start out with a light weight and do your reps that way, you know. So whatever you need to get through the fasting window, or whatever you need to do, like however short you need to make that window before you can be consistent with it, just do that and work your way up slowly. It's fine. Like, you're gonna be fine. Carlene. Oh, hey, Carlene. Just curious, what size were you when you first started, and what size are you now? I think be able to go down in size helps a lot with mindset as well. Okay, so here's the problem. Because for one, I really can't remember. And I was like squeezing into them too. Like, I so did not want to go up a size that I just would wear stuff that was way too tight. Like, if you go back and look at that picture of me that was posted on Facebook, you can tell those jeans, like, there's no room. There's no room in them at all. I think I was a 22. Like, but again, that was like, I should have been up probably a size or two or so. It was all I could do to get into those sizes. I remember it was a big deal to me when I got into like a 12. Now, these are an 8 that I'm wearing, and they're kind of baggy, so it kind of depends on the jean sizes. You know how that is. Like, I would say, like, I'm probably an 8 in most things, maybe a 6 in some things. So, if that kind of gives you an idea. But yeah, but it was very motivating when I started seeing that I'm dropping sizes. You know, it was motivating. So, but when I finally did get into the point where, you know, it wasn't so tight anymore, I was like, okay, I actually do need to go down a size now. Hi Kayla, I started IMF a few weeks ago. I hope it will do the trick. I just need to lose about 20 pounds, but I'm on antipsychotics, making it very hard. Oh, interesting. Like, so IMF, I think do you mean intermittent fasting? Because there's so many different programs out there. Maybe you can clarify, but I wish you the best. And you can totally do it though. 20 pounds, you can get there. And again, if you say, like, see, here's the tricky thing, for those of you out there who have just a little bit of weight to lose. Okay, I'm talking 20 pounds or less. Which I know, like, when it's a bit, like, when it's like, oh, I need to lose 20 pounds, that seems like a lot. But once you get down to a normal BMI, so if you look at the BMI charts, or you can just type in BMI calculator on Google, you can put in like your height and your weight, and it'll give you your BMI. And that's just a rough, it's not perfect by any means, but in my experience, it gets you pretty close as far as like if you shoot for just getting into the normal BMI range. Like I was like 3 pounds above normal BMI when I decided to maintain the first time. I had lost like 65 pounds. I said, okay, I want to maintain this and see if I can keep this weight off before I lose any more. I was going somewhere with that. Oh, but once you get down near a normal BMI, in my experience and in the experience of other people I've talked to, the weight loss gets a lot slower. Like, so when you've got a lot to lose, I think a pound a week on average is really good. But once you get down to a normal BMI, like mine was 1/3 of a pound a week on average. Okay, so sometimes it was less, sometimes it was a little bit more, but just to kind of give you the mindset thing. So it may take longer than what you're thinking, but don't think that you're doing anything wrong. It's just, it takes longer in my experience. So just takes patience and consistency. Okay, Veggie Lover, Happy New Year. While you were losing weight with O.M.A.D, did you still eat fast food? Sorry if you answered this already. I didn't answer it yet on this one at least. And yes, I do eat fast food. It's not something we eat a whole lot, like about once a week, which maybe to some people that's a lot, but I know other people that eat it a lot more often. But that was the thing. Like, I wanted to be able to eat all the food. All the food. It does not matter. Like, whatever my family is eating. So if they're eating fast food, I want to be eating fast food. And when we go to Chick-fil-A, it's going to be chicken strips for me and fries. Okay? Like, it's not going to be the fruit cup and the salad or whatever. I'm going to be eating, the foods that I like. So yeah, so I think that answers that question. I'm Nature Crafts. I'm trying to cook meat and bean chili in my new stove. Oh, hey, congratulations on getting a new stove. Ooh, the flat top. Oh, I had one of those in the house that we lived in before we started full-time RVing. I love that thing. Oh man, so nice. It would boil water so fast. Gabriel, what's one thing you say to yourself when your mind tries to sabotage your progress? Okay, slow is smooth, and smooth is fast, and giving myself permission for it to take a long time. So slow is smooth and smooth is fast is something that the Navy SEALs say, which means go slow on purpose. Like if you go slow, and so slow is smooth. So if you go slow, everything's smooth. And smooth is actually really fast. If you try to get in a hurry, you're going to end up getting, basically you're going to mess up. And then a lot of times what happens, especially with weight loss, is if you go off plan, and you go way off the rails, then you have to make up, so you have to re-lose that weight, and then you finally get back to that place that you were, and it's just disheartening. So better to just say, okay, I'm just going to stay on this track, make it easier so that it's smooth, right? And let's see, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Like another thing I would do, because I track my weight, I weigh every day, and I keep track of it in a spreadsheet. I keep track of my 7-day average, okay? And so if I ever plateaued for a long time, I would go back and look at my spreadsheet to remind myself of how far I've come. And I still, to this day, keep all of my weight in that spreadsheet. And so now it's really cool because I see the weights starting in February of 2015, starting at 222 pounds. And it goes, like when I'm just scrolling, it goes down, 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 down. And it's just really cool to watch. So reminding of yourself of how far you've come, reminding yourself you can do this. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I'm not special, okay? So, and ultimately, Gabriel, I think it's important to realize you have to like yourself. And if you don't currently like yourself, you got to learn how to start liking yourself. And like for me, I wanted to take good care of my kids, and I really had to realize, like, I've really got to start taking care of myself, because if I take care of myself, even though it seems selfish at the time, I'm a much better mom, I'm a much better wife, I'm a much better daughter to my parents, I think now. So it's good to take care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself if you want to take care of other people. So that would be my advice. Don't sabotage yourself. Be nice to yourself instead. Mary Jean, I have been doing a low carb diet on and off. Is it necessary to eat low carb for the O.M.A.D meal? I'm new to your channel. Okay, so Mary Jean, no, it is not necessary. Now, there are people who do low carb and they do O.M.A.D. And if that's what you're into, I say go for it. I'm not a low carb person. I eat really, I would say high carb more than anything. I like my carbs. Carbs are cheap. I've got a family of 5 to feed. So, yeah, I don't do it. Now, I will say, okay, so you said you've been doing it on and off. So if you're used to eating a low carb diet, the big thing to be aware of is that when you go back to eating carbs, you're going to gain some water weight, okay? And that's just the way it is. Like, I know from experience those few times where I've, you know, just randomly eaten really, really high protein, like, you know, like I just got wings. I remember one time in particular, we were traveling. I had one meal that day and it was just wings, okay? And so the next day I like dropped weight like crazy, but that was because I hadn't had carbs. As soon as I started eating carbs again, it just normalizes, okay? So it's not like what I would call true weight gain, but once your body acclimates to eating carbs, then you don't see those big fluctuations. But yeah, so hopefully that helps you. So just like if you're currently really low carb, don't be freaked out when you go back to eating carbs. NatureCraft finally had to replace the 90s GE. You know, it's funny, we had to replace our, I think it was a GE stove right before we sold our house. So, okay, Carlene, I started at a size 18, size 8 now. So see, look at, man, way to go, Carlene. You're a rock star. You're doing so good. Let's see. Let's see, Linda, added 5 kilos, weight stuck, but steady. No increase. I'm still on the O.M.A.D road. That's a miracle. I'm not giving up this time around. Well, that's great. And that's all that it takes, really, is just never give up. Just never give up. Just be stubborn about it and just say, well, this is what I'm doing. And eventually the weight does come off and you'll get it right back off. I know that you were saying like the holidays and everything. So yeah, so you'll get it right back off. I totally believe that. Okay. You fast to feast and feast to fast is definitely a way of life. Yeah, I remember one thing I read about like intermittent fasting when I first got kind of introduced to the idea was like, what if every day was like Thanksgiving? I was like, ooh, that's a plan I can do. So, Mary Jean, how many calories should I eat at my O.M.A.D meal? I don't count calories. I'm sure it varies widely just for myself. I counted calories back in 2015. I got really obsessed with that. I was weighing, measuring all my foods, and it made me really, really resentful, and it stressed me out to no end. That being said, some people love to count calories. They find it empowering, and I say, if that's what you like, go for it. But I'm sure mine varies because my appetite varies, because my activity level is different. Hormonal things change throughout the month. Certainly near my period time, I get a lot hungrier. You know, during my period, a lot hungrier, but then after that, the appetite goes way down. So I've learned to just go with the flow, basically. Like, just however I'm feeling, that's how I eat. And a lot of people have had success with just saying, whatever I want in my O.M.A.D, like, not going to count, not going to worry about it. And that's what I do. So, but you know, like if that is something that's really important to you, if you feel empowered by it, or if it will help you to not stress, you could start out by like looking at, for your body, you know, your weight and everything, like your BMR, figure that out, and then try just eating that level of calories, or you know, just experiment with it basically. Oh, so Eva, you're on day 4. Excellent. Peter, is there any risk of getting too little protein from O.M.A.D? I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but I can tell you, I read something the other day that basically said there's like basically no risk at all. Okay, so I've been doing intermittent fasting now since 2015. O.M.A.D for a lot of that, so 1 meal a day. I've never had any symptoms of, you know, any kind of like deficiency or anything. But again, if it's something, you could also go look up, because, you know, like stuff like that, I feel like a doctor or a scientist can give you a much better, much better research and things. But, you know, Dr. Jason Fung would be a good one to look at when, look up like Dr. Fung, too little protein, and I've seen him answer it, and basically the answer is no, but I'm not a doctor. Okay, so Ella, Happy New Year. I've been on OMAD since October, and I've lost 42 pounds. Congratulations, that's awesome. Now if I eat cake or anything with sugar, I get extremely tired. Why is that? Love your show. I don't know, people say they feel differently, you know, based on different foods. I think, and certainly like if you're, I guess maybe you're low carb. I don't know, because if you're, obviously you're not eating cake or sugar all the time. So some people say, you know, that sugar makes them really tired. I find sugar, like I'm fine. Like now if I eat sugar and nothing else, I don't feel the best. But I would say, you know, it's very individual. Some people report that kind of thing, and some people are fine with it. So I would say just note that for yourself, so that if in the future you maybe, I don't know, like if you're wanting to add more carbs and stuff back in, just, you know, kind of notice how you're feeling after every time. Or, you know, other things that could be happening is like if you're eating cake, maybe you're at a party or something, maybe that's tiring you out. It really depends. Let's see, Eva Seville, Happy New Year to you. Peter, oh, please ask all the questions you want. Sorry for so many questions, but what's your opinion on apple cider vinegar? It tastes disgusting, and I just can't bring myself to drink it. I tried, okay? It was actually in the beginning of this year because I was in Florida, and mosquitoes love me. They will eat me up. And so I had read somewhere that like if you drink apple cider vinegar, it like makes you like repel mosquitoes, which did not happen. And I don't like the taste of it. I never really noticed any kind of benefits. I probably didn't do it for long enough to notice those health benefits, but you know. So I say if you love it and if it does something for you, do it. But let's see, what hours did you do it? Skydy, I think you mean what hours, like, do I eat? So I usually eat just one meal around 6:30 at night, sometimes a little bit sooner, sometimes a little bit later than that. But I just sit down, eat my one meal, get up from the table, and start fasting again. That's what I'm doing O.M.A.D. If I'm doing a 16-8 or like that, I'll eat, you know, I'll either snack or I'll do 2 meals. I'm really laid back about it, so... And that's the way I would do when I was actually fasting. A lot of times it would be like a big meal to start, and then another like good sized meal, like so 2 big meals as opposed to like eat and then snack and then eat, you know. So that's usually just how it happened for me. Yes, you're going to be bad at it. So good that I'm not the only one. Always feels like a pant size is the last thing to decrease. I think that's so true, Christina, but that's probably because my tendency to like squeeze into that size. So, but yeah. Yeah, so let's see. Lisa, you asked how tall am I? I'm 5'6". Let's see. Okay, so let's see. Do calories count on 16-8 or O.M.A.D? Do you recommend keto? Okay, so Cora, you sorry I didn't see your question before, but do calories count on a 16-8? Well, okay, I don't think you have to count calories on a 16-8. I don't think you have to count calories, period. Now, if you enjoy it, then do it. But I don't, so I won't. I did my own kind of experiment in 2015 because I had gotten to that point where I was obsessed, and I finally just said, I'm just going to intuitively eat, and I'm going to see what my weight loss is like. And sure enough, when I compared my weight loss when I was counting versus when I was not, it was about the same. And I thought, why on earth would I torture myself, right? And really, the weight loss had really slowed with the whole count. I mean, well, it was about 1 pound a week, but it was like I was doing 1 pound a week like when I was not counting. So counting or not counting was about 1 pound a week when I was being consistent. So I think the main thing with the 16-8, because that is as far as where do people have success with intermittent fasting, most people that I've talked to, and this is not everybody, but most people say 16-8 is like the minimum where they've started to have the results. Some people can do a shorter fasting window than that and lose, but generally about a 16-8. Now, here's the thing with a 16-8. You can still emotionally eat, and an 8-hour window can be a good enough amount of time for you to overeat, you know. And so I would say if you are on a 16-8 and you're being very, very, very consistent with that, so in other words, you're only eating from like that 8-hour window. If you're not having any results, pay attention to if you're emotionally eating or if you're just eating out of boredom. Keep yourself busy. Otherwise, that was a problem of mine, like as far as I tended to eat because I was bored. So, and then you also asked, and so O.M.A.D, same thing, like I don't count calories. Some people do, but a lot of people don't. So, now, keto. Okay. Keto, I think if you love the foods on keto and that just naturally fits with how you love to eat, then that is what you should do. I have no problem with keto. I know a lot of people who have done great on keto. However, keto would drive me crazy. I wouldn't be able to stick with it, so I don't do it. I resisted the urge to try it because I looked at it, I was like, I would never stick with that. And so I think if you honestly look at it and you say, hey, I could stick with that for a lifetime for it. If you don't really see that being a thing, then I wouldn't. I don't want to discourage anybody out there who's on keto, because if it's working for you and you love it, then do it. But it's also, I've heard a lot of people talking about how difficult it is over the long term. And it's a lot of times it's very, very different than what people really want to eat at their goal weight. So I would ask yourself, do you see yourself like eating like that at your goal weight? Like you get down to your goal weight, are you going to be eating like that? Can you see that being the way you eat from now on? Or very, very similar to that? Those are questions I would ask myself. But like I said, I know a lot of people who are on keto doing great. Christina, do you keep sweets or other junk food in the RV regularly? I find having it around inevitably leads to binging. Good on you if you can abstain even with it around. Okay. Actually, okay, so we don't buy a ton of junk food. I've seen how, well, we're kind of like in the middle, I would say. Like, there are some people, like, they just buy kale and extra virgin olive oil and salmon, and then you have the people who buy nothing but junk. And we're kind of in the middle. I bought chocodiles because we heard about them on Psych, and I was like, what is a chocodile? I saw them in the store, so I bought some for our date night. Okay, so that's an example of I bought, like, you know, it's like, for those of you who don't know what a chocodile is, because I didn't know, it's a chocolate covered Twinkie. So I bought that and I ate them with no guilt at all, because, you know, I allow myself all the food. But on the other hand, junk food's pretty expensive and you can blow through it really fast. So from a budgetary standpoint, I don't buy a lot of junk food. Just because I mean, in this household with 3 kids and a snacking husband, so, it just, like, I just don't keep it around all that often. I will say, though, so those chocodiles were up there in that thing, and they just didn't cross my mind. And I had some, notice we keep all of our candy and stuff back here so the kids don't get into it, but for Christmas, I got some dark chocolate, like a big, you know, bar of dark chocolate, and it stayed in there. Like, it doesn't tempt me during the day. Like when I'm fasting, it just doesn't. It does not tempt me. Now, like I've talked about in the past, right before my period time, a lot of times I would really crave chocolate. That has kind of gone away now, but there were times where that was really the case. Like, it was like, you know, and my husband would be like, please just, you know, just here's a candy bar, you can eat it, and don't worry about it. Have a better day now. So, which I gave myself guilt-free, because you know what? made me feel better. And again, it's about, loving yourself and taking care of yourself. And so, and again, it goes back to, it's not forbidden. So I have permission to eat it if I want it. And especially during my eating window, I can eat it. And I've just found now, before intermittent fasting, before I had like, oh, there are no forbidden foods and that kind of thing, those chocolate aisles wouldn't lasted a day. I would have been like, or, they might have lasted like date night and then an additional day. I wouldn't have been able to stop myself because that forbidden food thing, it was just like, it would drive me bonkers. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay, Nature Crafts made it to 20 hours a day. That's good. Yeah, and working your way back. Oh, so good. A lot of people have this mindset of like, I gotta do it all right now, right? Like, I gotta get to O.M.A.D. Don't do that. Give yourself permission to just work up to it gradually. Just like Nature Crafts. She's doing it. She's fine. Like, just work your way back up. It's fine. Let's see. Matt Swanson. Hi, Kayla. I love your channel. Oh, thanks. Happy holidays. Yeah, they're in the rearview mirror now. Do you think there's any difference between doing the meal at lunchtime or dinner time? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I don't think so. I really think it comes down to just the one meal a day thing. Like, I think it really doesn't matter. You could eat it at midnight and I think it'd be fine. It's all about like, I'm really more of the calories in, calories out kind of mind frame. And I know that there are some things like, depending on what research you read, like there's some interesting things with that, but yeah, I think it really has more to do with just being consistent on the O.M.A.D. Okay, Peter, yes, intermittent fasting starting with 16:8, now doing 24, feels great so far. Tried O.M.A.D, but panic ate since I only had one meal. Yeah, I think that's good though, that you notice that about yourself. And that is a thing with O.M.A.D. A lot of people like it's like too much really to just try to cram it all into one meal, because it can be like you could be too hungry and you can end up just sitting down and scarfing food. And that was something I had to learn how to sit down and really approach that, like not be in a hurry and just calm down. Like it's always not that I'm blaming you guys, but like the time that I have the hardest time still with sitting down and just being, deliberate and slow and just eat my food and enjoy the meal are like when I have the live coming up. It's like, oh, I gotta hurry up, so I'll hurry and I won't really think as much about enjoying the food. So it's a process though, but and you may find that you want to work up to O.M.A.D, but I think at a 24, and really, look, I'm all about like, if you're having results at a 16:8 or whatever you're having results at, stick with it while you're having results. So Debbie, I started at a 24, 12 to so December 28, working my way to O.M.A.D. I've been keto for 7 months. Do you think that to start a cheat day will still work? Okay, so I took a cheat day, and I still take a cheat day, even though I'm maintaining. I think you'll be fine. Now, here's what you need to know, because I'm not sure if you're saying you're going off keto, but whatever you do, understand that when you go from keto to eating carbs again, you will gain water weight, and it's just water weight. I know it's like a hard thing to deal with, any kind of increase on the scale. I get that. But it'll all normalize and you'll be fine. It's not true weight gain, in other words. It's just that's how your body deals like with carbs. There's a thing scientifically that they, like, for every gram of carb there's like 3 grams of water, I think, that you consume. Okay, so, but I love cheat day. Okay, cheat day to me is very, very important for sticking with the plan. For me, it made it so that I stuck with the plan really consistently. So in other words, while like 6 days a week, let's say when I first started, I was like at a 16:8, 18:6. I was super consistent with that because I was like, hey, you can deal with this because on Sunday you get to eat whenever you want to. So for 6 days, it's like, okay, I can hang in there, right? And then you give yourself that seventh day, and it's freedom. And then also, on that idea of freedom, I think that's really important to give yourself that day where you see yourself like out in the wild, right? It's like there is no diet, there is no, eating plan. You get to see how you really interact with food when there isn't that rule there, like that there's not that rule of I'm only eating once today. And to me that gave me so much peace, because I realized like I really do have my stress eating under control, because I don't, like on Sunday I don't go stress eat all day. I just, I eat whenever I want to eat. And I've learned better ways to deal with my stress, and I've learned how to keep myself busy and occupied, my life full. So okay, April, what do you do different when you're maintaining versus losing? Okay, so great question. I always keep a plan, whether I'm maintaining or losing. So for example, when I am wanting to lose, my losing plan is walking 6 miles a day, cheat day on Sunday, and I do O.M.A.D. Those are my only rules. I eat whatever I want. I drink coffee with half and half 3 times a day during my fasting window, just because I like that. There's no real trick to that. It's just like I love coffee and I just want it during my fasting window. Now, when I'm maintaining, I give myself more license. Okay, so I did a lot of experimentation back when I first started maintaining. After I lost like 65 pounds, I did that for like a year, like just maintaining. And gosh, I ate all different kinds of ways. It was usually some sort of form of intermittent fasting. I kept weighing myself every day, and I kept track of my 7-day average. Now, I did that so that I could give myself some freedom, and I gave myself a 5-pound leeway. So basically, like, I stopped losing at like 157, okay? I wanted my 7-day average to stay within 5 pounds of 157. So meaning from 157 up to like 162, I was fine with that, with the 7-day average being that. That's actually a lot of leeway, okay? Like if you've not kept track of your 7-day average, the 7-day average tends to, like, if you just keep averaging your stuff out, it's usually like within a pound. But so that was giving myself a lot of leeway, and I just kind of wanted to see, like, what do I want to eat? I mean, how do I want to eat going forward? And I thought, if I find that I'm gaining a lot, then I will have to kind of rein it back in. But what I generally found for me that I liked, and sometimes I even got rid of the steps during that time just to see, like, do I like this? Do I not? I decided to keep the steps because it keeps me in a good mood. And I like just moving. That's like an accomplishment every day. I pretty much kept my first meal at supper, and then sometimes I would do a snack, or with my husband, we would have like a snack after the kids were in bed. Sometimes I would do lunch and supper, and it was a lot more freedom. This go around, like I said before, I basically do O.M.A.D with like sometimes more like a snack after the kids are in bed, and then other times I may do lunch. I really like O.M.A.D though, as far as just like I love to be productive all day, and then when I'm done with work, then sit down and eat. So oh yeah, and so you can play with all that. I don't like watching the clock. That's the one thing, like somebody said, you like doing a 16:8 or whatever. I just don't like watching the clock. Like, I'm the worst at being like, what time did I eat last night? I never know what time it is, hardly, except for these lives. So, let's see. Another question for your one meal per day. Do you have a time limit? Because I could continue to eat for 1 hour straight if you would let me. Haha. That's funny. Okay, I've never given myself a time limit, okay? But I just sit at the table until I'm done. Okay, so, and I've got kids, so it's like, we don't really linger at the table, I would say is how to put that. Like, we sit down, I think we're generally done within 45 minutes or so. We sit there and we don't have devices, no TV. We are trying to be fully present at the table. And, so that's what we do. And, so, I don't give myself a time limit. I never watch the clock. People ask me, like, how long is your meal? Like, I don't know. I just sit down and eat. But just I sit down and let myself enjoy the meal. And I would say let yourself do the same. Like really just let yourself sit there, enjoy the meal. Don't be in a rush. Don't watch TV. Just sit there and enjoy your family or whoever you eat supper with. How long did it take for you to be to become confident about being able to keep the weight off? I'm at a goal, but always worried about gaining again. Okay. This was something that took me a long time to really, like I said, in 2017, September 2017, that's when no. Yeah, no. That was when I started the YouTube channel. November of 2016, that's when I said, okay, I gotta see if I can maintain this. And I was completely clueless as to whether I would be able to keep it off or not. I really had no idea. I thought, this is too easy. Like, there's no way that it can possibly be this easy. I mean, I had struggled with weight loss my entire life, so I was just, like, waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? Like, okay, obviously this is gonna, like, I'm gonna gain the weight back, or it's gonna be really hard to keep it off. But I found it was super easy. So after I maintained for almost a year, that's when I started this channel. At that point, I felt really confident about keeping it off. And I really thought, well, we'll find out when I start the channel, you know, because that was another kind of stressful thing to start, like, sharing stuff about my weight and about, you know, my actual, like, what I actually weighed and how much weight I had lost. And so I thought, wow, what if all that stress makes me gain weight? But I was able to actually lose. I went back doing O.M.A.D and I lost more. And then so this time was another time, like after I got down to like 140, 142. I thought, okay, I'm good here. Like, I don't need to lose anymore. I feel good. There wasn't a whole lot of difference, just to let you all know, like, how I felt at 157 versus how I felt at 152, let's say, or 142, sorry. That's like 15 pounds difference. Just didn't feel that different. There was a huge difference in how I felt at 222 versus 157. But just so you know, like, it was just, and at that point when I realized that, like, I'm really happy here, so I decided to just maintain it. Now, so my point is, I'm very curious to see how easy it is to maintain at this lower weight. I have a feeling it's going to be fine. Like, I haven't noticed, like, even through the holidays, I thought, ooh, like, I decided to maintain at the beginning of maybe at the end of November, or maybe the beginning of November. But anyway, regardless, I was curious to see. I thought, oh, maybe I'll gain a lot during the holidays. I didn't. I did my 5-day fast at the beginning of December, and while I dropped really low, it went right back up. That was just water weight loss, basically. Okay, so, but don't worry. Just keep tracking. I think that's the main thing with maintenance, is to continue to have a plan of some sort and keep tracking so that you don't, you know, just wake up one morning and realize, like, wow, I've gained 50 pounds. Because that's what I would do. Whenever I stop weighing, that's usually when I put the weight back on. So I've just decided I'm always going to weigh. It's like brushing my teeth. I just brush my teeth and weigh every day. Let's see, JD. I've been eating what I want and doing O.M.A.D for 2 months, 16.8 for a month prior to that. And I'm not losing. I eat dessert with every meal. So maybe I can't eat what I want. Thoughts? Okay, so let's see, JD, I don't know if you are weighing every day. I don't know how much weight you have to lose. So here are some things with that. Oh, and then I've got to go. Okay, so, if you're doing 16.8 and you're just eating whatever you want, the dessert is fine. Lots of people have dessert with every meal and they totally lose weight. However, it's possible that, you know, for having that longer window, you're just able to eat more calories really than your body needs in order to lose weight. So I would say shorten your window a little bit. So maybe go to an 18.6, work your way to it, and see where you start to have results. Also, I weigh every day and take the 7-day average and see how that trends over time. Okay. Because weight can appear, like if you're not weighing regularly, it can appear to not really be moving, when in fact it is. Also, it depends on how much weight you have to lose. If you have a lot to lose, then the scale should start moving. If you don't have a lot to lose, then, you know, but a lot of times it's really consistency, but I think you said you're being consistent, but also watching to make sure you're being very, 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 very consistent. Okay, well, I'm out of time. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'm trying to see if there are any other questions. I probably am not going to get to all of them. Thank you again for joining me. And again, you can go to our Facebook page or Facebook group and ask questions in there. There are a lot of people in there, and I try to be in there answering questions as much as possible. With over 800 people, sometimes I miss things, but also I'm offering pay what you will coaching via email or messenger for the month of January. Also, I have coaching packages available if you're interested in that. Also, my book, The Laid Back Guide to Intermittent Fasting. Thank you to all of you who have purchased it. There's also an audio version available read by me. So again, thank you guys for joining me. Sorry I didn't get to all the questions, and I will see you guys later.